I come from a diversity and inclusion equity background, and being able to jump over to Habitat is really truly being able to put equity work at the forefront. Habitat's been doing equity work in Wichita since 1986. It just wasn't called that. And so I have an opportunity to meld diversity, inclusion, equity, and affordable housing, which is really at the heart of moving our community forward. Equity work is what I'm most passionate about. When we talk about discrimination in our community, when we talk about health, determinants of health, when we talk about access to health care, those are the spaces I've continued to serve in. I'm on the Health Core Clinic Board. This is an organization that believes in making sure that all of the health resources are streamlined. Food deserts right now, right? That's an ongoing conversation. And so through CORE, I get to kind of touch that work. Housing is important. I get to do that with Habitat for Humanity. Working alongside young professionals, particularly our most marginalized. I get to do that with urban professionals, Rise Up for Youth, touching the young folks and being able to make sure that they have opportunities throughout the community. Checking in on Black Student Union, making sure that these organizations are doing well on campus. I believe that that is truly holistic work, as well as making sure that we're registering folks to vote, encouraging people that look like me to run for office. If we want true change, it's got to be reflective of this community. W honestly has given me a lot of those first experiences. I've had an opportunity to go through a number of leadership courses, but the W leadership course, or YPW at the time, was one of the first ones. Board service. So that was still, I was young in the board game, and so I had an opportunity to be invited and serve alongside folks that I don't think I would have normally met outside of that. I didn't know who Shelley Pritchard was prior to that. I had heard of her service with Girl Scouts and other spaces, but I got to sit at that table. That's where I met your Sherry Utashes and a lot of these other folks. I got to build a relationship with Ebony Clemens, who's big in W. W, of all the young professional organizations that I'm aware of, has kind of the longest standing opportunities. They have the programs that are already put together. They're connected to the chamber. There's some spaces that this group is able to navigate because they've had that years of experience. And the resource sharing is what I really see as that lane. Like, there's already a blueprint, and y'all are successful in that. And so I really see that continued collaboration, putting some of these organizations in spaces they wouldn't normally have access to, and W already does. And then being that voice for our young folks in the community and the city, helping to navigate and showcase, hey, we're here, we pay our taxes too, we're on these boards, we have executive directors, we have some of these folks that are in this space, and they're still young professionals. And so W kind of has that juice to be able to add to that. Especially as young people, we feel like we know it all and like, oh, they couldn't do it. I know I can do it. And maybe we can, right? It's having the confidence in yourself. It's also being okay with failing. You don't have to hold everyone on your back, even though you feel that pressure. I think, especially as a woman of color, I often think, if I'm in here and I say the wrong thing, does that reflect badly on everybody else? You should be cognizant of your brand and your community, but it is okay if you mess up. Like, you don't have to be perfect in every space. And so I would make sure that I told young professionals that step into a room, take the chances, swing the bat, and be you, be authentically you. Don't change your voice for the spaces that you're in, right? There's a difference between being professional and culturally holding yourself back. And I don't think that that's something we should do. We should shine in those spaces. We shouldn't be afraid to be the only one in the room. We should ensure that people know our names and that we make those connections and that we're not afraid to move forward. That is what I would say is don't be afraid, keep it pushing, and seek out mentorship from anyone that you can, and listen.